We got married really young. So
How young?
I was 21 and she was 18. She actually turned 19 on her honeymoon, which was fun. We went to a resort and everyone was looking at us like, kids aren't allowed here.
I know.
And we're like,
Yes.
well, we're actually married.
Yes.
We got married in a very strict religious kind of framework.
What's
We were Mormon.
I see.
Yeah.
So 7 years into our marriage is when my faith crisis started. It began with women's issues in the church. It really bothered me that women weren't ordained. You know, that led to me thinking harder about like historical things in the church that really bothered me. You know, polygamy being one of them, and the overt sexism of that. And then after I left college, I was slowly coming into political consciousness for like the first time ever. Gradually, it was a house of cards.
How were the two of you talking at the time about all of this?
There was a lot of tension because, you know, as she gradually left, I stayed, and I had known a lot of the issues of the church. I had known them for a long time, and I had just kind of like rationalized them away. And she was like, what the hell is your problem? Like, what are you doing still going? She kind of saw that as a betrayal of her.
In what way?
I think the church hurt her in a lot of ways. An analogy is like somebody that, you know, does something terrible to her. How do I still go have lunch with that person every Sunday? Like, why would you do that for 5 years?
But what's your answer?
My answer is that I couldn't leave the church for her. I couldn't. Like, it was like, no, like, I need to do this for me. And the more you push and yell at me, the less I'm gonna wanna do it. We just couldn't get to a place where the fighting stopped.
What's your...
Which to me felt like I was screaming into a chasm, trying to get you to hear me and like be with me and like side with me. But that was a really lonely place for me to be for a really long time.
Yeah.
Like for us, both of our families have been Mormon for generations.
Yeah.
And so you can't just minimize it to a simple faith difference. It's just bone deep, you know, deeper than bone deep.
Intergenerationally bone deep.
Makes it hard to leave.
Yeah.
But that like kind of ended when I left the church, and there was this period of really great connection. And now we're in a place where our marriage is kind of foundationless. And so we're kind of just having to rebuild and see if our partnership is what we want, you know? What, you gonna say something?
No, I'm listening to you.
Oh.
You look upset.
Yeah.
It's just, it sucks to just know Brock is what, you're turning 37, I'm turning 34 this year.
Yeah.
For the first time in our lives to be asking, what does love mean to us? What do we want out of a relationship? What does partnership look like to us? Who are we? Like, it sucks to have to do that. It feels like an unnatural just progression of things to like make the decision to get married and to have to like leave a cult and then do all of this. It's like you have to do it all backwards.
You feel robbed.
Yeah. I grieve. I really do feel like so much was taken from me of my life. And now I'm having to start from scratch with the pieces of an old life that wasn't authentic to me.
We just recently had a little baby boy. And our emotional and physical intimacy for a while has taken a tank. And I think that pretty much sums it up on my part.
So what happened with your intimacy? sexually? Like
Doesn't exist.
And have the two of you talked about it and tried to problem solve around it, or?
Not until very recently, where we've literally, through the recommendation of both of our individual therapists,
Yeah.
scheduled sex.
Right.
We did it, right? We tried. We went on a date. We didn't do it on the date time.
Just why not on the day of the date?
We were like,
Not we.
okay,
Don't include me in that, yeah.
we had a babysitter, and then we got home, and then we were tired. Like, it was our first time.
I wasn't tired.
I was.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was.
Okay.
Sorry. So.
But you're saying soon after?
And then we did do it, like, a few days later. It was awkward, like you said. That was the exact word you used.
I don't remember calling the sex awkward. I don't remember saying that.
Maybe that wasn't the adjective
But
you used.
what's your understanding of what's going on there?
So I went through this period where I refused to even try anymore. I was so resigned, like she didn't get any of that energy from me anymore. And
Because you
because I was
were
like,
rejected?
it's making me feel bad. Yeah,
Yeah.
I started to blame myself for I was like, is it my performance? Is it how I look? Is it, all these narratives I was playing in my head was so unhealthy. And I was very honest with her, and I was like, this is taking a huge toll on me. And I just got back, I'm sorry. That's all I got back. You know what I mean?
Hold on. So what would you add to that?
I know if I say, well, hey, I'm not feeling great about myself. That's not a one-time, like, this week sort of thing. So it feels shitty to talk about all the time. Like, hey, I'm not really feeling it because I don't like me. Like, I feel like that's
You feel like that's
a really tough place to go.
in yourself.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
What's the oh my God?
Just like getting emotional about it. It sucks. Fucking sucks. But I also suppress those feelings because I'm like, I know you feel shitty too. But sharing that is like, it's difficult.
What's bothering you?
When I met him, I was like in this like most confident time in my life. I was a really young mom. So I had my daughter when I was like 18. So I was a mom for like all of those years when you're like, in college and partying and doing all those fun things. And so it wasn't until I was much later in my 20s that I was like, able to just explore who I was. And then I met him, and he's super confident, super intelligent man, and that rubbed off on me, and it felt good. It felt really good, and it sort of reassured how I felt about myself. And then, like, the closer we get, I'm like, maybe I'm not the, like, super confident, interesting person that I thought I was, because that was something I was trying on. And, like, when I see us as a couple, I'm like, wow, you bring all the good shit. And I'm just like, I feel like a sidekick, just like here for the ride.
How is it for you? Do you hear Natasha say what she's saying?
It doesn't make sense to me because I see so many amazing things about her. My life has gotten exponentially better since I've been with you. So for me, I don't understand why she feels that way, but I understand that she does, and I wish I could help.
We've had yet another awesome week.
You feel the same way?
I felt like we had a great week, but I do feel that I did get in my head a little bit.
How so?
Self-doubt, asking questions about the affair. Why did you do this? Why did you do that? And then I went off on Sean, and he's like, babe, we should both been here, like, having a great time. And you're allowing this to interfere with that.
So the two of you have a great time. That's conditioned on certain things being off the table. They shouldn't be processed.
It's not about putting it off the table. If Erica can't tell me how to make it better for her, then we're just talking about how upset you are. And in the process of that, we're just re-aggravating an old wound. And you're now upset, and you're now angry, and you're now in the same pattern. that has pushed us apart.
I mean, what you're saying maybe helps make sense of something that I'm personally struggling with in terms of how to work with the two of you. I don't know if you know anything about my theoretical background.
We don't.
But I'm a psychoanalyst, right? So one of the ways that we work is a lot of introspection about what motivates us to behave certain ways, a lot of self-reflection. And I feel like when I'm trying to do that kind of work with the two of you, it doesn't really go. You in particular, you seem kind of like averse to that. You're saying you don't want to focus on what happened in the past. You want to look forward. What are the behaviors that will make things better? And there are therapeutic approaches that do that, but I don't know how to do that.
Okay.
Have you both been in individual treatment?
I have.
Yeah. And you?
I've gone once or twice.
Might be a good idea for both of you.
Absolutely. I know that I definitely have stuff going on with me that so go ahead, Orna. I'm open to whatever internal reflection that you think I need to.
So let's, for a minute, talk about anger.
Okay.
I mean, Erica has put on the table a few reasons why she's angry.
You have every right to be angry. But when your anger is a big part of the problems that we have had in our relationship and in our communication, how is that helping us get better?
I think
And
I'm more
that's-
defensive than angry, Sean, because I've always had to defend myself my whole life in my
How
positions.
so? How so?
I've always been told like I'm not going to be something. Say I'm not going to amount to something. It's always been, oh, you know, you're a girl, you're a black girl, you have larger boobs, so you can't dance this way, or like whatever it was. There's always something. And so I made sure I positioned myself so that I did everything they said I could not accomplish. I would make them very much aware of that. I think I do stuff like that with you.
How do you do that with Sean?
He always says I try to prove a point, but I don't think it's I'm trying to prove a point. Is that I think I feel like that he's discounted me in some regard. Now I'm trying to make sure that you know what I actually bring to the table.
But I don't discount you.
But Erica is saying that I guess there's some interactions in which she feels
Erica
like
feels
you,
attacked before
she
it
feels like you
starts.
discount her. Can you look inward and find any place in yourself where you sometimes feel, sometimes I feel dismissive?
Absolutely.
So
There are absolutely situations where we get into a conversation. I'm being not only attacked, being dismissed, and in a lot of ways just catching the wrath of whatever happened in her day.
She's talking about me being dismissed, not you.
So here's what's happening. I feel like you're defending yourself. But what are you defending yourself?
I'm not defending
About?
myself. I'm
not sure what's happening. Do you feel like I'm criticizing you?
No, I don't feel like you're criticizing me, but I'm saying I know why I behave the way I behave. Maybe for Erica, there's a lot more of that she needs to, understand about herself, because I see her anger more than anybody probably. So for me, I don't know how to address that. I don't know how to.
But I'm hoping to bring couples into less kind of blaming the other person and more kind of looking inward. Oh, what about me made me volunteer to behave in this way? What about me?
Yes.
Not what about them?
I'm super self-reflective. I always look at what I did before I look at what anybody else did.
It does not appear in your speech.
That's because we're here in a situation with my wife who won't listen to me, and I haven't been able to help Erica past her anger about what I did.
No, we're not talking about you helping Erica. We're talking about you learning
Helping you.
something internally. That's the
I've processed this internally, but what I'm dealing with in this dynamic that we
What have you
have,
processed, Sean? What have you processed internally, I guess?
I know why I did what I did, but I'm suffering with the fact that my wife is an angry person, and that I'm typically her
she's
punching
also
bag.
mad at you.
She was an angry person before she was mad at me. That's the
Sure.
thing.
I want to be really direct with you. I don't know how to work with that.
Okay.
I can't find you. I find you doing that, and I can't find you. I can't connect with you. I can't find you. You're saying, Erica, Erica, Erica. There's nowhere in there that you're telling me something about yourself.
What can I tell you about myself that has to do with my wife's anger?
You could say something like, you know, I've had experience where people get mad at me, and I don't really understand why people are so mad at me. I need to understand something about the way I'm doing things that ends up with people being repeatedly mad at me.
I don't have a lot of issues with people being mad at me.
Okay.
It's not a common experience.
You told me that your ex-wife is not on speaking terms with you.
My ex-wife.
And you have a current wife, and there's plenty of love between the two of you, and she's mad at you. So there's something there that you might want to look at in yourself.
I don't really need a lot of insight in why Sean is the way Sean is. I understand myself very, very well.
So how can I be of help?
To you. She's asking to you, sir.
Okay. And for her to be a help to me, it would be for you to better understand your anger, why you're still so angry with me.
But I'm gonna stop you guys. I'm not the right therapist for you guys.
You can talk. It's been a little rough. I will say after that session though, I slept really well, so that was nice.
Interesting.
Yeah, I feel like we pulled on something and it undid the whole sweater. Yeah.
Do you know what it was? What was the thread?
I don't think I was recognizing how frustrated I was with the relationship, or even just with myself. I feel honestly like I've lied to myself for most always, and I feel like that thread was this thread of truth, and then the whole thing just yeah.
Any thoughts?
So I think those realizations, well, I don't want to really speak for
We
you.
ended up, we're breaking up essentially, or trying to figure out how to decouple in a ethical way. She asked me if I felt like I was in love with her, and I said, well, I don't know. I don't know. Haven't necessarily felt that. We haven't felt that in a while.
Well, I guess what Nadine also said is she's not sure if she's polyamorous anymore. She's not sure if she can manage being...
I feel very confused.
So I was like, okay, our entire relationship has revolved around non-monogamy and polyamory, and I feel that you have used polyamory as a vehicle to leave me. And I'm mad. I'm really mad. I'm disappointed. I don't know if I need to move out, and I don't have enough to try to find a new place to live and maintain our rent. So I don't know if we should push through it. And
I'm team push through it personally.
Push through it means
I just feel like we're
living under the same roof until
the lease is up.
so it's like
So
3
one
more
option is to stay, and the other option is
to move,
To figure out how to cancel the lease and then each move out. And I have zero. I'm my life aside from this is in shambles. I need to get my situation
what's
together.
happening with your life?
I have no finance. Everything got fucked up.
Tell me.
So simultaneously to all of this, I always worked in with my family and my dad and all of that.
What kind of work is that?
Cars and stuff like that. But moving to New York, I stopped working for my family. This is also when it came out, and then that totally unraveled my family dynamic.
How
And then
so?
with my dad, it's just gone totally. He doesn't at this point doesn't want to have a relationship with me, and
He doesn't want to have a relationship with you since you came out?
so for him it's all together because I moved here, then I became gay, because I just became gay, right? So in his eyes, I'm not working, I'm doing drugs, I've literally lost my mind, and now I'm with a woman, and so I'm trying to put pieces back together while this is all happening.
It sounds like a crisis.
Oh, big time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so our last conversation was he didn't want to have a relationship. He was like night and day different.
How so?
He's like the sweetest dad. He was
You
like,
were special to him?
I'm his only daughter, yeah. And like if I walked in the room, his whole face lit up. Like, everyone knew, like, and he called me Flower. And now it's like, as if that like never was even real or anything. Because it feels not real, because the minute I veer from the course,
I mean, it's conditional.
total, like the most transactional and conditional love ever.
Yeah. Very confusing. And you're describing a relationship in which, first of all, there's like a great deal of dependence that has been fostered, and in a way needing to negate yourself to keep that going, and negate your ability to stand on your own feet.
It's like choosing between yourself and then like
The love of your father. I'm just trying to think about things that happened between the two of you that might be related to that. I mean, one immediate thought is something gets set up between the two of you, and then you start feeling like Christine is doing that to you. That she's, in a way, having certain expectations of
yes,
you
yes,
that
yes.
either you adhere to, and then you're a
on
good
good
girl,
graces. Yes, exactly.
or you're bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
The interesting thing is that you're, in a way, setting it up so that that dynamic gets created. And I think that's where the breaking of the agreements is worth thinking about. That, in a way, you're provoking Christine to become that person.
Yeah. And it's probably especially so when I'm feeling so triggered in the, like, as it's like falling apart.
As the situation with your dad is falling apart.
Actively
Yes.
falling apart. Or the fact that he's not there.
Yeah.
So then I recreate him.
Yeah.
Oh,
Interesting.
because you're comfortable with that.
Yeah. Because that feels
familiar.
like love, maybe. I don't know. Yeah.
Or at least that's what you know.
Yeah, as love.
Christine, do you have any thoughts on what Nadine is saying?
I definitely empathize with you, and I don't really feel like I've been that kind to you lately. Sometimes the narrative in my head is like, this person is heartless, and they're like out to get me and stuff. But you're just
A person.
well, yeah.
Well, we're running out of time. I suggest you come back.
Even if we're
Any-
decoupling.
I guess I want to hear the decoupling over time, just to make sure that's what you're doing.
Okay.
We'll keep talking.
Okay.
Well, we took your advice to seek out separate therapy sessions.
Meaning you did it already.
Yes,
Excellent.
yes. And I think I was uncovered that I want to just be peaceful and unbothered. I feel like I have a lot of things that trigger me, like my anger. I just want to be like, you know what? Out of my control.
It sounds like you're saying what you arrived at as a beginning goal is for things outside of you to not affect you.
Yes. How did yours go?
Mine went fine. It was a very good conversation. I think in the case of us, the biggest problem is that I'm not a priority.
I know he takes it as he's not a priority, but I didn't have to be accountable for anyone except for Erica for a long time. So it was never how I had to reach out to make sure, like I never had to call my mom, like, Mom, so let you know I'm safe. Like I never did that.
She didn't want to know where you are.
She told me, Erica, when you were very, very young, I knew that I didn't have to worry about you.
Because?
She says because when she had me, I was premature and
How premature?
about a month. And so when I was released, my mom in her mind had determined that I was forever gonna be okay. I knew she's gonna be okay. However, my sibling, he became diabetic when he was in first grade.
Oh.
So he has been ill his whole entire life. So her attention
Went to him.
has always been on him. It's never been on me as a child to an adult. So. And so I think I've always just, I assumed I'd always be okay.
Well, I guess maybe you assumed you're gonna be okay, or you learned not to pay attention when you're not okay.
Absolutely.
That's why you'll go to a therapist now and say you need to find a way to not feel when things are not okay. So you're continuing your NICU experience. Whatever's not okay, you're just not going to pay attention to. But then, lo and behold, when you're upset, you get really upset.
Yes.
That's what I've been talking about, the reoccurring conversation.
But
It's
just
not
to say something about what Erica just told us, when you're asked to be the one that is okay, all those other things that are suppressed or dissociated or pushed aside, they don't go away.
Well, I guess my only outlet has been anger.
Right.
So I think
Well, you're probably pretty pissed off about taking that role in the family.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I see it's viewing itself in other pockets that I don't. So I don't.
Meaning you're suppressing it somewhere here and it's
Right.
showing up over there.
Right.
Because that's what feelings do. They just refuse to just go away.
So I have to process them.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Confront them.
The idea is, first of all, to know how you're actually feeling about things that are happening, things that matter. And in terms of between the two of you, the tiny bit of work I've been trying to do with you is to find a way for the two of you to process things that bother you between you. I think the two of you don't really know how to do that.
Well, it's because I don't have a place to place my my feelings, my anger, my frustrations, or whatever it
I
is
would
I'm
assume you
processing.
don't actually know what's bothering you.
I don't.
I mean, that's a good thing to work on in therapy. How do you think you felt at the NICU?
I probably felt alone, unattended to, if I were to guess.
Yeah.
You think that can resonate as a child, as an adult? I try not to depend on people at all. Because I feel like I would probably get let down or disappointed. So maybe I've always pigeonholed myself into being alone. Always. And I didn't even know that. I don't sit and cry with my girlfriends or talk about sorrows or talk about disappointments. Like, that's not.
And with Sean?
I'm sorry?
With Sean? What do you think, Sean?
I mean, when she breaks down in front of me, I'm there to hold her, I'm there to support her, I'm there to listen. But it's not something that she voluntarily comes to me to confide in, to be vulnerable, to express her
Do you
feelings.
wish she did?
Absolutely. It's been one of the main things that, like, allows me to have a much better understanding of what you're going through.
That's good information for you.
Yeah.
All right. We've run out of time. I will see you next week.
Okay.
That's good news.
You know, something that kept replaying in my head this past week was these very small micro moments throughout my childhood. Like,
Tell me.
I went really long periods of time where my mom and my dad were separating. I couldn't see my dad. And my dad was my best friend. Like, I loved my dad. I looked up to my dad. He was like a superhero to me. Like, if I could be half the father my dad was, like, I want to cry right now thinking about it. But like, if I could be half the father my dad was, I'd be proud of myself. Because my dad, against he could have been like any of his peers. My dad grew up in the projects of Brooklyn, and there's many of fathers that just decided not to be in their children's lives, especially in an adversary like my mother. But my dad, by any means, made sure he was in my life. He would sneak me a phone and be like, this is how I'm gonna call you. I'll meet you here at this time. Bring me an Easter basket. You know, like, he would do these things that really meant a lot to me. So when I was able to explore it, it made me realize that feeling of loneliness stems from the moments where I felt like I was being kept from my dad.
I mean, I really appreciate the way you're talking about it and following your own process. And did you also allow yourself to get connected to these feelings of like longing and loneliness and abandonment?
Yeah, I think I don't think I resolved them in the way that, but I think I understood them a bit more. But I think at the same time, I feel justified in what I feel in my relationship, my current relationship with Natasha. Like, I feel justified.
Well, of course you're justified. Let's say, I don't know, Natasha, I don't know if you have any thoughts about this, how this connects to your dynamic, but.
I think if I was to look at it from like a therapy perspective, is that if he is feeling in any way like a parallel with his father, anything that happens between us, I become a parallel to his mother. And that could be really tough to reconcile with, right?
Yeah.
And so it may be really
This
easy to go back
might sound
there.
a little strange, but one thought I'm having is that it's almost like, Natasha, you're, by withholding your warmth and intimacy, you're the mom holding back the dad.
Oh, yikes.
From Josh. You're holding back the good stuff.
Yeah. Wow.
I could see that connection.
Yeah, and like to be that in any capacity is sort of like shocking. Like I kind of just want to push it away. It's not a comfortable thought to have.
That's that's really interesting. I just feel like another door opened inside my brain. I'm like, okay, I gotta, there's these rooms in my brain, and they're like nice and organized and compartmentalized, and like I did all this work in there, and I'm like, oh. Like, I moved the bookshelf, and there's another door, and I'm like, where the fuck did this door come from? And I opened it, and it's just fucked up and messy, and I'm like, there's just a little much work to do in there. And that's what it feels like just happened at this very moment. I'm like, yeah.
Like, sometimes I think about, like, could I have an affair right now on you? I don't think I could.
Keep going. You couldn't because?
Because, like, I would feel so bad, like, hurting you.
I have lots of thoughts, but where are you?
It's funny to hear you say, like, I could never do what you did because of how it would hurt you. And what I've tried to convey to you before is space for the idea that maybe it wasn't about you. Like, it was not about you at all. I've told you before that I wasn't even thinking of you. And for me, that experience was like so powerful because that was really the only time in my life where I can look back and say, like, only I owned myself in that moment. Like, questions of duty or culture or marriage or identity as a woman, as a wife, as whatever, like, all just were obliterated. And so it's hard to talk about that with you, though, because how can something that was so healing for me be the thing that hurt you the most?
I think there's something else that Brock seems to be asking for. I don't know. Which is not an explanation, but concern.
Like, yes, I do have concern for, like, I just, like, don't know. It just feels like he just wants to just beat me with this for the rest of my life.
It feels like he just wants to control the relationship
That's not.
with this.
That's not what I want.
What are you looking for? What has Christy not given you?
Like, I almost feel like I don't have, like, as much, like, she has more power than me because she has proven that she can completely forget about me in a moment and do something for her. And I don't feel like I can do that.
Yeah. You don't have that kind of power.
No.
Right.
And that bothers me. It's not even like we share power. I feel like I have less power. Even like one time when I asked you, like, hey, like, I'd like to explore like other ways of like, you know, doing our relationship. And it was like, no, we're not. And since I don't have the power to go do it on my own, I am left at her mercy for when she decides I need this for myself, like, Brock, compartment, boom. And then I come back.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the difference between you.
I know that. But it's like, as you're saying to me, like, well, that's it. You're different. I want to yell back, like, well, what if I'm not? Like, what if I'm stuck? What if I'm just trapped?
We took like a whole week apart with like no talking, no nothing. Yeah, and then when we did reconvene, I kind of exploded about something. And I think it was just a
What do you mean,
culmination.
something?
So when we worked together, if she would go on a date or whatever, it didn't bother me as much. But now that we're not together, when she does those things, now I'm feeling jealous and just like, yeah, just like not positive. Like didn't feel good. So got really upset and like all my emotions came out. And then...
And what's that doing to you?
I'm getting frustrated because I feel like Nadine is doing whatever she wants with her person. We are broken up. I am not obliged to tell you anything about what I'm doing in my personal life. And I get very frustrated that now all of a sudden I'm the liar, I'm this, I'm that. And I'm like, I was very clear with you about my feelings for this person during our relationship.
She told me she was in love with this person.
Yeah.
That you're in love with this person, I'm sorry, during your relationship?
Yes. So I told Nadine a few months ago, when me and Nadine were in a relationship, prior to the breakup, that I had feelings for this person.
Yeah.
But they were in a monogamous relationship.
Yeah.
And so they had a breakup at the same time. So
Convenient.
now,
What are you saying?
Convenient.
how is it different from me watching you want to date someone else? It's not that different. So
From what to
you
what?
were doing
Yeah.
and what I'm doing is not that different.
I agree.
So feel your feelings, girl. I've been feeling them for a year and a half. Like, I feel, especially when the other person came into the picture on November 5th, I know exactly the day that you met. I feel like you got checked out of our relationship and that was the end of it. And I had to watch you
Yeah.
leave, basically.
Yeah.
So that's the difference.
Yeah, and I'm not like dating that person.
Babe, you told them you're in love with them.
So let's pause there, because you're both like gravitating towards litigating some case in which the other person has wronged you.
I think it's the buildup of resentment, I wonder.
But resentment is...
Sadness. I'm so sad.
But resentment is not sadness.
Sadness is different from resentment.
Yes.
Okay.
Resentment comes when you feel like you've been wronged.
In some ways, yeah. I mean, we made a commitment to each other. Yes, we're doing this new relationship dynamic, but you are my home. You're my rock. Like, but I felt like you left and you didn't come back. That's what I'm upset about. And then you want me in your life and you're FaceTiming me and you're being very like, making sexual advances and it's confusing for me.
I hear what you're saying, and I want to say I'm sorry. I wasn't like actively trying to like curate this plan and like trick you and do all of those things. I was not trying to do that at all. If anything,
Meaning
it was
the narrative that you were
that
lying.
I was like that I'm like actively lying and like
That narrative is a misunderstanding of you.
in many ways I see her lens of like how you're saying that happened. What I'm trying to say is, if anything, I was so in love with you. I was suffocated by the relationship. I didn't know how to get to say that. And so what I could search for was, okay, let's change the structure. And changing the structure by means wasn't a way to exit the relationship. It was trying to alleviate some of my anxieties, pain, stress, feelings of vacation, those things. It wasn't like I was trying to like, okay, I'm gonna do this and then she'll break up with me. It wasn't like that at all. And I'm so sorry that this whole thing happened this way. I'm so sorry. I swear from the bottom of my heart.
Hold
I'm not
on.
trying to.
Do you understand that? Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
If you just stayed with that narrative, that Nadine didn't lie to you, she was struggling, what feelings then are you left with?
Just sadness then.
Say more.
I feel like there's so much love here. There's still so much love here. And I did, like, when I first met you, you really took my breath away. As cliche as that sounds, like, I feel like I already knew you. And I remember texting you after our first date. I was like, I feel like I was talking to an old friend.
Yeah, I'm sad. I'm really sad. You came into my life at such like a chaotic time when I felt very hopeless, and you were like my mother, my friend, my lover, my family, my care, like you were everything. And so like it feels more than just like losing a partner. It feels like a home or like something bigger. So yeah.
I love you.
Love you too.